Hi, my name's Polly Lawrence. I've put together some short videos, and this particular one is about sketching using pen and watercolour paints. It's a very good idea. I love doing sketching on plein air, not taking too much time, but managing to sort out what you need to put down on your paper. I hope you enjoy this and I hope you get a lot from it. The particular image is from a place called Kalymnos, where I go every year, haven't been for 3 years, to do painting and sketching holidays. You're very welcome to come along. You'll find all the information at the end of the video, where we've got a reference to my website and also the website of Greek Island Painting Trips. Enjoy. You will see from the paper edge that I have drawn in some lines, particularly the design of the tree, and I'm now adding detail with a UniPen because it's nice to have that texture of the bark, and this is other things that you look at as you're sketching. Now this doesn't have to be done straight away, it could be done halfway through your colour, or you can do bits and pieces in between. I often add more pen later on. The blue is in actual fact masking fluid. I decided to put a little on here and there just in case I go over the top with colour. At least I've got the highlights. Just finishing off the line work. Sometimes I can't stop. Here I'm wetting the paper all the way down, apart from the rockery bits, just in the sky of the sea. That I allow to dry to a point where it's lost its sheen, and then I start to put colour in. Very gently to start off with, because you can always make it darker. That brush is a beautiful brush for doing large areas. A Chinese mop, I think they call it. I've used ultramarine mixed with some Pthalo Blue. Wasn't too happy with that when I put it down, so I've lifted some out, and I will add some Viridian into that area. And let that dry a little bit and then go back to it and put some more colour in, which you'll see later. Just lifting a bit of colour off there on the edges, and now adding the Viridian. It gives it that nice Mediterranean blue colour. Going over to raw sienna on the rocks with a touch of burnt sienna in places, and burnt umber. That's burnt umber putting in now. Across the beach is raw sienna. This is speeded up. I don't paint this fast. Wish I could actually. There we go. A bit more raw sienna. Lovely colour. Makes a beautiful green if you put it in with Pthalo Blue. This is burnt sienna. I've changed to a round brush, size 8. Obviously need the points to get into some areas. The background by this time is completely dry. I'm going to add some green, light green in the background where the blue lines are a bit, for the brighter, lighter colours of the leaves with the sunlight on them. I shall add darker shade later. Taking my time here. Don't know what I'm doing. I must be mixing colours. Ah yes, the darker green. Sap Green with a touch of Ultramarine Blue. And you can add some yellow to it as well to get some brightness. Again, that's left to dry a bit before touching it or doing any more to it. Spikiness of grass. You'll see that that first lot of burnt umber that I put in onto the rocks there has faded completely in. That's why I've left it to dry and now put in some of the striations and rock faces. This is shadow. Now it looks a bit dark in this. It's not as dark as that in actual fact, but it does dry a little bit lighter. And that's using ultramarine with burnt sienna. Burnt sienna because it's got a slightly reddish colour and therefore produces a dull violet. It's very much a case of working on it where it's dry to get a certain effect and layering one on top of the other. So that darker colour coming in, that's burnt umber. Adding more to the rocks and details of the rocks on the beach. Next comes the darker green. And as you see, I've added some blue to this because the leaves on this particular tree, the beech tree, because they're all on the beaches, is quite blue. But the blue has been added to the green. Just building up slowly. Adding shade here and there. Increasing the detail. Again with burnt umber. And a touch of ultramarine. Slightly thicker paint this time. Background is dry. As you see, it's not moving, it stays exactly where I put it. If it was damp, it would move. Using the same colour combination, I'm putting in the reflections here. Burnt umber and ultramarine. A little bit extra ultramarine in this. Horizon, it looks at an angle only because the page is at an angle. I didn't do it that angle. As you'll see at the end of the video, I've got a wide shot of the final painting. This is something I could have put in the first place, but I like to get more of the foreground done in this particular case because that is the more positive. The islands in the distance fade. Again, using ultramarine and burnt umber, I think, or burnt sienna for that violet in the background. Very much a choice. I wanted to limit the colours Put a little bit more detail on the rocks. We're almost there. There you are, the final product. I hope you enjoyed it. And here's all the details you may need. Get in touch with me. Go to my website, details are on there. And perhaps I'll see you in Kalymnos.